Welcome to Brilliantly British. Right here in front of me, take a look, squint really hard. You will see that this dish has nothing to do with amphibians, yet its name, Toad in the Hole, would indicate so. I'm going to show you how to make this dish, and of course at the end I'm going to taste it and describe how amazing this dish is. For today's Toad in the Hole, you will need, in this case, 4 sausages, milk, some beer, flour, and we're going to be using 2 eggs. For the mash that will accompany the Toad in the Hole, you'll need some potatoes, of course, butter, recommended Coleman's mustard. We'll be accompanying everything with some red cabbage, and of course, obviously, you will need some red cabbage, a little bit of sugar, and some cooking oil. And then to engulf all of this together and marry them all with one another, we will be making gravy from scratch. And so to do this, you'll need just a handful of some mushrooms, a carrot, an onion, some sticks of celery, some Marmite, again recommended, and generally you will need to season everything with some salt and pepper. And of course, it's very important to stay hydrated whilst you're cooking, so please get yourself a nice hot cup of tea. So I've gone ahead and cracked 2 eggs into this jug here. Now, pretty much the base for a Yorkshire, for a Toad in the Hole, is Yorkshire pudding batter, which is pretty much the same as pancake batter. And a common problem that people have with it is that it tends to be lumpy whilst they make it. If you whisk your eggs and flour together first before adding your milk, you actually avoid the occurrence of lumps. Just whisk this together until it's smooth. Okay, like so. Now we add our milk. And what you'll see is that by doing it in that exact order with eggs, flour, and then milk, you'll see that your batter will just be smooth and silky straight away. Then we're just going to put in a little bit of beer. This will help our Yorkshire puddings to rise and be fluffy, but will also add that distinct flavour to the batter. This batter now needs to rest. We've exhausted it, and we will rest it in the fridge. Now, you ideally could make this a day ahead, but we're just going to rest this in the fridge for about an hour, because this is how you actually make the best Yorkshire pudding, the contrast in temperature. So getting them as cold as possible, and then the oil, which we'll put them in later, as hot as possible, creates the best Yorkshire puddings. The potatoes have been peeled, and now they're going to be cooked whole, and then we'll pour in some hot water to cook them. We're about to start making our gravy, and to start off, we just need to finely chop the mushrooms here. This is now going to go onto the stove and cook, and we're going to cook this down until it's completely reduced and the water's evaporated. Add a splash of beer followed by enough water to create enough gravy for yourself and others. Then turn the heat right down and leave for later. Cabbage just very simply needs to be sliced into thin strips, and I'm just about to show you what I mean. Beautiful vegetable, as thin as you can get it. It'll cook faster, and also it'll have a much more delicate texture when you eat it. Splash of oil into the pan. All of our sliced cabbage. And this will now go onto the hob and cook with a lid on. Season with salt, add some water, cook on a high heat before poking it around for a bit, and then cover it with a lid. The oven has been switched on to heat up to 220 degrees C. Meanwhile, on a very high heat, pour some cooking oil into a pan and then wait for the oil to start to smoke. Please take care. The oil is now smoking, and so we're going to put in the sausages to cook just for a few minutes before pouring in the batter. As soon as you've poured the batter into the pan, put the pan into the oven to then cook your toad in the hole. The cabbage isn't quite cooked, so I'm just going to give it a stir and then add a bit more water before putting the lid back on. We're almost done with the gravy now, and just to finish it off, we're going to sieve out the vegetables because they've done their job by adding flavour to our sauce. So pour this into the sieve, push that through just a little bit. We're not pureeing this, but we just want as much the liquid as we can get. Move that over to one side, and then this is going to go back into the pot. Now we're going to add layers of flavour to our gravy. A bit more beer. Okay, stir that round. Then we're going to add a little bit of Marmite. If you're not familiar with Marmite, Marmite is a controversial substance that a lot of people love and also a lot of people hate. But if you add it to dark, rich sauces such as this, it does just lift it. Stir that in. Up until now, we haven't added any salt because Marmite is actually quite salty. Just stirring that around, making sure everything's dissolved. And now what we're going to do is put this back on the hob to heat back up, and then we're going to thicken it. Mix together 50 grams of butter with 2 tablespoons of flour before whisking in to thicken and finish the gravy. To finish the cabbage, add a teaspoon of sugar. I've strained the potatoes and put them in a bowl here just so that I can very easily demonstrate to you what I'm about to do and how I'm about to make this beautiful mustard mash. So we just take one hot potato with a ricer straight into the pot like so. In goes our butter. In will also go the mustard. And of course, make sure that this thing doesn't lack salt and some pepper. And so there you have it, some beautiful mustard mash. This has just come out of the oven, and as you can see, this is beautifully crispy. And if you really squint your eyes, you can see that these are toads sticking out of a hole, kind of. Anyway, we're gonna plate this. Oh, yes. Beautiful. Toads in the hole. Let's see what's what. Tuck it in. Nice crispy Yorkshire pudding batter. Delicious. I've got the beer coming in the background. Mustard mash. Nice and strong. And now the red cabbage. Oh, this dish is so well rounded. You've got the nice beer in the background, the mustard mash, the sweetness of the red cabbage. Guys, try this yourselves. Amazing. And there we have it, Toad in the Hole. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you all next time.